But that game took on more significance for the Hammers. The 4-0 defeat was one too many for Eggert Magnusson, and manager Alan Pardew, the man who'd taken West Ham to 9th place and an FA Cup final the season before, was fired.
I was a bit shocked, to be honest. I couldn't believe he'd been sacked because he's done so well for us.
Last year he just got promoted and he got West Ham to the FA Cup final. I was thinking that's a marvellous job for a team that just got promoted. Not many teams have done that.
Just 2 days later, the Hammers unveiled former player and Charlton manager Alan Kirbishley, who'd once signed Pardew as a player.
I've watched his career as it's progressed, and I phoned him up and told him how sorry I was that he lost his job, but you know, this is football, and you know, now I was going there.
With his former Charlton assistant Mervyn Day at his side, Kirbishley faced a tough initiation, with Manchester United the visitors for his first game in charge. Nigel Reo-Coker's second-half strike gave the Hammers a shock 1-0 win. But any talk of an immediate revival under Kirbishley proved to be a false dawn, as his side would have to wait 12 games for their next win. Defeat at Upton Park was the only blip for Sir Alex in a month in which he celebrated his 65th birthday.
With 4 wins and 2 draws, including a 6-2 mauling of Blackburn at the Emirates, December was looking like a formality for Arsenal. It was left to Sheffield United to bring the Gunners back down to earth as they produced a shock 1-0 win. Cristiano with his first Premier League goal. The Blades had to survive the last half an hour with defender Phil Jagielka in goal after Paddy Kenny went off injured.
I've got grown men telling me how it's the best game they've seen in 60 years and all sorts of things. It was exciting, and the circumstances with the goalkeeper going off and the Jagielka going in goal just made for it even more special.
Wigan, struggling for points, were unlucky not to have taken any off of Chelsea. They were holding the champions at 2-2 until the 89th minute, when Ian Robben produced a moment of individual brilliance. Crucially, Chelsea were twice held to 2-2 draws at Stamford Bridge, first by Reading and then by Fulham. To add to their woes, captain John Terry would miss the whole of January through injury.
Who was sacked after just 7 league games in charge. The Premier League Wheel of Fortune taking another spin.
Sometimes in life, you know, it's nice to go where you feel you get a good shot at it and trust, and I believe I've got that here.
Already 5 points off safety, Alan Pardew had a lot of work ahead of him to try and salvage Charlton's season. At the top of the table, the race for the title was turning into a 2-horse affair. Cristiano Ronaldo and Sam Allardyce picked up the monthly awards, while Matt Taylor's stunning strike for Pompey against Everton would take some beating to prevent him winning goal of the season.
Even for a man from Iceland, it seemed a chilly start to January. Eggert Magnusson seeing his West Ham side trounced 6-0 by Reading on New Year's Day.
It's Kevin Doyle with his second, and this mauling at the Medeski goes on for West Ham United.
Results prompted West Ham into frenzied action in the transfer window, spending over £14 million on 6 new signings. The outlook at Vicarage Road looked anything but prosperous heading into the new year. With just 11 points from 19 games, the Hornets' survival prospects were poor, already 10 points from safety. But against the odds and without star player Ashley Young, who'd been sold to Aston Villa for £10 million, the Hornets recorded just their second win of the campaign, a 2-1 defeat of Blackburn Rovers to lift their spirits.
It seemed all was not well at Chelsea in January. With no impending transfers, rumours were rife that Jose Mourinho had fallen out with Roman Abramovich. It certainly wasn't the ideal preparation for a big game against Liverpool at Anfield. There was even talk that Mourinho might go at the end of the season. Chelsea arrived at Liverpool with their influential captain John Terry sidelined through injury. Petr Cech made a dramatic return in goal, complete with protective headguard. But Liverpool weren't in charitable mood, scoring after just 4 minutes. And Jermaine Pennant added more misery with a wonder goal to cap a fine 2-0 win for the Reds. Was Chelsea's title slipping away?
Manchester United strengthened in January, bringing in veteran striker Henrik Larsson on a short-term loan. But even the presence of the former Barcelona star couldn't inspire victory over Arsenal. Rooney had given United a 1-0 lead, but Robin van Persie equalised with 7 minutes to go. And there was heartache for United in the final minute as Thierry Henry scored a dramatic winner.
It was an impressive month for Middlesbrough. Gareth Southgate's men chalked up 3 wins and a draw, scoring 11 goals while conceding just 3.
The players have to take enormous credit. You know, they're playing in a style with a swagger that they're confident.
By the end of January, United had opened up a 6-point lead over rivals Chelsea. Only 2 points separated 17th from 19th place at the bottom. Liverpool's Rafael Benitez picked up Manager of the Month and Arsenal's Cesc Fabregas the Player Award. Obafemi Martins was beginning to show his class for Newcastle.
In February, Liverpool became the 3rd Premier League side to be taken over by American owners. Hot on the heels of George Gillette and Tom Hicks' arrival was the announcement Liverpool will have a new 60,000 capacity stadium by 2010.
This is truly the largest sport in the world, the most important sport in the world, and this is the most important club in the most important sport in the world, and what a privilege we have to be associated with it.
On the pitch, though, a shaky month for the Reds. Just 1 win in 3 games, but that was a convincing 4-0 demolition of Sheffield United. At the other end of the table, Charlton, still struggling in the relegation zone, were preparing to welcome back their former manager Alan Kirbishley. The managerial merry-go-round had had a profound impact on the Addicks season, and Kirbishley was surprised at the fortunes of both clubs. The security of last season had become a fight for survival.
I didn't envisage that Charlton would have the season they've had, and obviously I've come into West Ham now, and I wouldn't have envisaged the season West Ham have had.
Charlton certainly didn't show any affection for their former manager of 15 years. This was their biggest success of the season, a 4-0 drubbing to move them above the Hammers.
Tottenham hadn't beaten Manchester United at White Hart Lane since 2001, and the trend continued. Spurs didn't get a look in as Ferguson's team stormed to a 4-0 win. For Martin Jol's men, it was their 5th league game without a victory, seriously damaging their quest for a European place. United's potent mix of experience and youth was producing devastating results as they won 3 out of 3 in February, underlining their title ambitions. A fortuitous 2-1 win at Fulham, coming from 1-0 down, cranked up the pressure on Chelsea as United moved 9 points clear at the top. Liverpool and Arsenal completed the 4 Champions League places going into March. At the bottom, Watford looked doomed with Charlton, West Ham and Wigan in serious trouble. Sir Alex Ferguson picked up his 3rd manager award and Ryan Giggs made it a Manchester United double. Pedro Mendes' memorable strike against Manchester City for Portsmouth was a popular choice for Goal of the Month.
Beaten by Chelsea in the League Cup final, it got even worse for Arsenal in March. Their season effectively over as they were knocked out of the FA Cup and Champions League. Arsene Wenger's misery was compounded by the loss of captain Thierry Henry for the rest of the campaign through injury.
I feel it was a very strange season that just slipped away from us, and it's very difficult to find a real logical explanation.
Their month of misery was completed by Liverpool. Peter Crouch's hat-trick sealed a magnificent 4-1 win, a result that left Arsenal 23 points behind Manchester United. Liverpool hadn't beaten Manchester United at home since 2001, and they came unstuck again. It was a special game for Ryan Giggs, marking his 700th appearance for United, and it was his free kick that led to John O'Shea's winner in the last minute. Too late for Liverpool to salvage anything from the game.
Tottenham and West Ham were embroiled in perhaps the game of the season at Upton Park. The Hammers, inspired by Carlos Tevez, raced into a 2-0 first-half lead. And Tevez was rather pleased with his goal. 2 second-half goals from Jermaine Defoe and Timu Tainio levelled the match, but an 85th-minute Bobby Zamora strike looked to have sealed the points for West Ham. Incredibly, Spurs scored not one, but 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to win the game 4-3. They finished March having won 5 consecutive matches. Alan Kirbishley's side now looked doomed 10 points from safety, but their luck was about to change. At 1-1 in their next game against Blackburn, Bobby Zamora's effort hit Carlos Tevez, who blocked the shot before it crossed the line and apparently in an offside position. Amazingly, the goal was given, much to the dismay of Blackburn.
These are the things, the key moments in games that you have to get right, because they have a direct influence on how well or how poorly you do in seasons.
With Liverpool and Arsenal both out of a title race, it had become a straight shootout between Chelsea and Manchester United. The defending champions kept up the pressure on United, matching them win for win in March. There was still a lot of work to do for Chelsea, trailing by 6 points in the title race. 2 wins and a draw for Charlton left them just a point adrift of safety. Jose Mourinho picked up his first monthly award and was joined by Petr Cech. Manchester United's young duo of Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney combined for the month's most memorable goal.
Now more twists as the drama mounted in the final run-in. Manchester United suffered a surprise 2-1 defeat at Portsmouth. That looked to have opened the door to their closest rivals. Rio Ferdinand's own goal suggested a touch of the jitters, and keeper Edwin van der Sar was going through a rocky patch. Mourinho's side took full advantage. A 1-0 win over Tottenham, courtesy of Ricardo Carvalho, cut United's lead to 3 points. Then United slipped up again, drawing 1-1 with Middlesbrough at Old Trafford. Chelsea now have the perfect chance to blow open the title race. But a resilient Newcastle held Chelsea to a goalless draw, only the 3rd time all season that the Blues had failed to score in a league fixture.
It was the final weekend in April that would prove pivotal in the race to be champions. With games running out, Manchester United looked to be cracking under the pressure. Alan Stubbs and Manuel Fernandes put Everton 2-0 up.
At Stamford Bridge, Chelsea were leading Bolton 2-1. At that moment, the top 2 were level on points.
But at Goodison Park, a fumble from rookie keeper Ian Turner let United back into their match.
And at Stamford Bridge, Kevin Davis equalised for Bolton. That meant United now had a 2-point lead at the top.
It got considerably worse for Chelsea. On Merseyside, United were running riot. 3 goals in the final 25 minutes gave the Reds a 4.
At Stamford Bridge, you could see why, as Chelsea were held 2-2. Mourinho's team were now 5 points adrift of United with just 3 games left.
Man United's a massive club that don't like losing. So there's been a couple of years that we've been dominant, like you say, and it was never always going to carry on being like that. So it's Man U have got good players. They brought some good players in, and they're fighting for it the same as we are.
West Ham boosted their survival hopes by becoming the first opposition to win at the Emirates, thanks to Bobby Zamora's goal. For the record, they were also the last opposition to win at Highbury. Fortune not hiding for the Hammers now. Off the pitch, West Ham were fined £5.5 million for a breach of transfer rules over the signings of Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano. Controversially, the London club escaped a points deduction, a decision that proved vital as the Hammers rallied on the pitch, thrashing rivals Wigan 3-0 at the JJB. Tevez was instrumental in the win, which left both sides locked on 35 points.
It's probably our worst home performance of the season, and it's not a good day to do it.
But it was Watford who became the first side to suffer relegation. In a must-win game, the Hornets could only manage a 1-1 draw at home to Manchester City.
We've drawn a lot of games and not won enough, and if you don't win games, then obviously you don't stay in any league. So, disappointing.
A 3-1 defeat to Manchester City left Fulham without a win in 7 games and in danger of relegation. Chairman Mohamed Al Fayed brought in Northern Ireland manager Laurie Sanchez as a replacement for Chris Coleman, who was sacked after 4 years in charge. Also saying goodbye was Bolton manager Sam Allardyce, who decided to quit after nearly 8 years. Assistant Sammy Lee stepped in to replace him. And Arsenal's vice-chairman David Dein, the man who recruited Arsene Wenger, left citing irreconcilable differences with the rest of the board. David James ended the month on a high, setting a new Premier League record of 142 clean sheets.
For personal achievement on one level, but more to do with the fact that every game that we keep a clean sheet, we're not going to lose.
5 points behind United with just 3 matches left to play. The game was nearly up for Chelsea. At the bottom, Charlton needed to win their remaining 2 fixtures to stand any hope of survival. Robbie Keane and Dimitar Berbatov shared the awards for Player of the Month. Martin O'Neill picked up the manager's accolade, and James McFadden put forward his contender for Goal of the Season.
The Manchester derby took on a lot more than just bragging rights in May. If United could defeat City, Chelsea would need to win at Arsenal. Ronaldo drew first blood for the visitors, dispatching the penalty he won with ease. That was goal number 23 of the season for the man voted both PFA Player and Young Player of the Year. Darius Vassell missed the chance to equalise from the spot, which left City finishing the campaign with the lowest number of league home goals ever scored, just 10. United's win meant Chelsea had to defeat Arsenal, but the Blues were struggling as early as the 43rd minute after having Khalid Boularus sent off. Gilberto Silva dispatched the penalty kick to give the Gunners a 1-0 lead. Michael Essien levelled the match, but it wasn't enough. United had claimed their title as time finally ran out for Mourinho.
I think it's the team's greatest achievement, the club's greatest achievement, simply because it's a relatively new team together, and hopefully that it's going to get better because of that. it's their first attempt at it, really, this team. And that's where we're all encouraged.
Newcastle signed off at St James's Park with a 2-0 defeat against Blackburn. After another season of underachievement, Glenn Roeder paid the price with his job. Just 2 days after the season ended, Sam Allardyce was announced as the new manager.
With 2 games remaining, Charlton needed to beat Tottenham at home to stand any chance of staying up. But the ever-impressive Dimitar Berbatov put Spurs ahead in under 7 minutes. Former Charlton trainee Jermaine Defoe put the final nail in his first club's coffin with a 90th minute goal. Charlton were down.
Bolton guaranteed their place in the UEFA Cup with a 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. Sammy Lee's first point as Bolton manager. Of the remaining 2 UEFA Cup spots, one was taken by Everton, who finished 6th after a creditable draw against the deposed champions Chelsea. And Tottenham clinched 5th place again as they beat Manchester City 2-1. That proved to be the last game in charge for Stuart Pearce, who was sacked. Reading miss Europe by a point. A great debut season for the Royals, who finished 8th. Steve Coppell voted Manager of the Year by fellow bosses.
At the bottom of the table, it was a 3-way fight for survival between Sheffield United, Wigan and West Ham. Only a victory over Sheffield United would be good enough for Wigan to stay up. And they took the early initiative with Paul Sharner's strike on 14 minutes. That left the Blades in the relegation zone.
At Old Trafford, West Ham only needed a point, but it was a real backs-against-the-wall affair.
At Bramall Lane, Neil Warnock was urging his side on. John Stead's brave header made it 1-1. And the Blades traded places with Wigan in the table.
Then, against the run of play, West Ham's man of the moment, Carlos Tevez, shot the Hammers into a 1-0 lead. If West Ham could maintain it, it would be a straight fight between Sheffield and Wigan for survival.
Once again, the initiative swung the way of the Latics after Phil Jagielka was penalised for handball. It was former Blades player David Unsworth who converted the spot kick late into first half injury time. Sheffield United dominated the second half. Only the post denied Danny Webber. Was that their last chance?
Final whistle at Old Trafford, and amazingly, West Ham had completed the double over Manchester United to ensure safety.
The final whistle at Bramall Lane brought contrasting emotions. Jubilation for Wigan and dejection and a feeling of disbelief for the Blades as Sheffield United were relegated.
Whoever got relegated would feel bitter, but you've got to get on with it and look ahead. But it is very difficult at this moment in time, you know.
I'm absolutely physically and mentally drained. Yeah, it's a great achievement for us. I feel a little bit sorry for Sheffield United because it's never nice for teams to celebrate winning something, or certainly when the opposition gets relegated.
Less than 24 hours after keeping his side up, Paul Jewell quit as Wigan boss.
After 10 months of Premier League football, it was Watford, Charlton and Sheffield United who fell through the relegation trapdoor.
Manchester United won their first title in 4 years, 6 points ahead of Chelsea. Liverpool and Arsenal claimed the remaining 2 Champions League places.
So Sir Alex put the seal on his greatness and Ronaldo was voted player of the season. Manchester United had been top of the table since the end of September. They scored the most goals and won the most games. Manchester United, Barclays Premier League champions for a record 9th time, and they did it in style.